Change.
Yeah, you know, alphabetical in America, I guess.
Well, you are more the big spoon, so it makes sense.
Everyone loves to be the small spoon, but you know who doesn't love to be the small spoon, at least in this situation, is Blerst. They're going to be attacking first, and they're looking to come out big right off the bat. Kangorillas, take a look, as they do have those 3 repair matrices. As they're looking to, they're playing patty cake here a little bit. I did technically make like a wager. Whoever has the best victory dance, like when a score or a victory, I would like give $100 to, but no one's even really tried. So
we haven't seen those emotes. Hopefully they'll start to come out more and more over the course of today, though. Jason, Seedable Bag wants to kick it off instantly, though. He's not a fan of reptiles, and Lone Gecko is kicked straight on his hiney to open this one up. A little bit of movement early on.
Well, we can see Nova's being picked up. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, we're seeing double comets out of Kangorillas here trying to play from range. So we were talking about before, wanting to potentially see it as well. They're going to be using it right off the bat here on payload. As Blerst is looking to push the payload up, they actually do have a man advantage. It's going to be 4 up against 1 now, as Leverage is the last man alive, looking to chase this one down to pick him off. And they're trying to do so just as we were talking about before. We wanted to see these aggressive plays. We wanted to see them realize we have a man advantage. We can force this against you. They do hold him back, and now Boop's going to have to be careful because he's overextended a little bit. This
is actually really nice movement coming out from the surviving Kangorillas, though, that have been able to dive their way away and actually keep themselves in the game, to move back over, go for the regrouped attack, the 4-on-4, straight up towards the site. Tons of damage done. Smbritsky tagging everyone from a distance. Seedable Bag getting involved with the fold as well. And they actually do tidy that one up, Jason, and regain control. But they have secured themselves that first checkpoint as a staple.
I am enjoying, actually, the double detonators out of both teams, too. The double detonators, instant heals as well. The double detonators, with how we've seen like Blerst like to move, look at that, coming straight at you, can do some serious damage. And we already mentioned how important Blast, Burst, I don't know, I'm messing up everywhere. Damage is how important it is, actually, when it comes to Echo combat. But we can see it looks like Blerst with a little bit of HP on Nalovic and Boop.
The movement.
Yeah, I mean, Leverage is, he's going to put on a clinic, honestly. If you're trying to get into Echo combat, you're trying to get better, watch him play and watch how good he is at moving and stalling for time, and that's exactly what you want to do.
Well, that, for me, probably is one of the bigger aspects, of course, across the board for the Echo games, but it's just that level of movement he has that sets him so far ahead of the competition to put you into just ludicrous positions. You can change your entire play style just because of how quickly you can get into the fold, duck out, and just take no damage. Completely negates half of the plays that Kangorillas are trying to make against him.
Interesting to see as well. Kangorillas is technically playing like in a deficit because they don't have as many repair matrices as Blerst. They're running the threat scanner instead out of Strembitsky. So they're getting the information, yes. The problem is that they're not going to have the extra healing when it comes to these fights. So they're really banking on Strembitsky hitting these shots, as well as Sputnik Cobra, to get a lot of damage done, to maybe, you know, use this threat scanner to actually bait out one of the repair matrices so they can actually equalize in terms of ordinances and tacticals.
Well, you mentioned his name, and he's going to start doing damage for you, Jason, as he's absolutely slaying. Picks up the 2 entries there to at least try and slow them down. Getting incredibly close towards that checkpoint, but it's been stalled for the meantime, at least, as they do wipe out the majority of the squad and are able to calm themselves back down.
This double meter, double comet is just really interesting to see out of Kangorillas. I mean, it's really punishing Blerst for trying to traverse across the map really quickly. Like for them in this area, it's really hard to hit these shots from long range unless you're going to barrel down. But Seedable Bag's been able to connect onto 2. Now they can out of Lego, both going to fall. And it's all on Lone Gecko here to hold. And it looks like he's going to get some distance on the payload, yes, but eventually going to be cleaned up. Kind of similar to what we see out of Gravity in terms of the King of the Hill modes, is let them have the point for a little bit of time to go clear up the fight somewhere else and come back in. And then, yeah, you give it some distance, but in the end, you hold the point and you take a lot of time off of that clock.
I'm actually curious the amount of damage Strembitsky's done overall into this already, because Boop was sitting at about 1,300 just a few mere seconds into the game. So they've definitely been showing how lethal they are. Pretty much the same there. 1,300 now been picked up for Strembitsky. As you can see, just glides his way around. Easy flicks across the board. The aim capability this man has is normally unmatchable. But Blerst going to be looking like they want to try and pick themselves up this match, Jason. They move forward and get that checkpoint.
Get through the second phase. Now I wonder, is there going to be switch-ups out of Kangorilla's side? Because we're going to phase 3. We're going into the ramp, which is going to be a very key, where number 36 is on the mini-map out of Lego. You got to get up that ramp to, we'll fight in a fight against the high ground. And we know how that worked for Anakin Skywalker, and it's probably going to work the same way for Blerst. Unless they can get aggressive, as already off the bat, out of Lego and Boop going to fall initially. Strembitsky hitting shots as well as Leverage. And we do see the swap up come in. Sputnik Cobra's gotten rid of the Comet, switch over to the Meteor here for some extra damage, some extra burst. And again, with how close quarters you are, the Meteor can put in some serious work. It can get so much value out of just a single shot.
Yeah, this is going to be really horrible as well. Fighting that uphill battle straight into that splash damage. The connections are instant as well.
Also, the back coming from behind, looking for some easy damage. He gets the flank around. It looks like they're actually not able to pick up a single kill off this, unfortunately, because the healing's going to be there. But if anything, the two repair matrices are down. Instant healing going to be out, at least for Lone Gecko, as ec.lip.se going to fall. But this is working out for Blerst. They get a 3-for-1 exchange.
This is good. It feels like Boop's actually been doing a ton of damage here to at least open up these early intros.
1,600 damage. 1,700 damage now. I was looking earlier on. I think I want to say it was like ec.lip.se or now, yeah, Lone Gecko 700.
Yeah.
He's got over 1,000 damage more than Lone Gecko so far.
It's crazy too. Boop opened it up with about 1,300, and then since then Strembitski's just been taking it by leaps and bounds and keeps on moving with that. Leverage gets involved as well. Strembitski finally laid to rest. Set to cool off for a moment of time, but Boop is back in action, and he's beating his way through. 1,600 damage, Jason, and this lethality knows no bounds. He carries on. That's a full cleanup.
The payload's going to move. They actually might want to finish this off. Number 17's going to come in. It's going to be Strembitski who switches over to the Nova, trying to stall for some time, trying to get the reinforcements to be there, and he gets himself a nice double. There's a chance Kangorillas going to hold on. However, they've been wiped out. ec.lip.se and Lone Gecko close it out, and Blerst will get the completion here on the first map.
That's got to be at least 2k damage for Boop at the end of that one, surely. That's ridiculous. He was just punishing his way through everyone so easily. Literally just the Boop versus Strembitski show when it comes down to the raw aim.
And they're playing completely different weapons too. Boop could be up close and personal with the Nova. I think he was actually using the Nova. I didn't actually check when I was looking at towards the end. But having to play different styles with the long range for Strembitski, who eventually did switch over away from it, then up against Blerst in their aggressive playstyle. But then again, Blerst wasn't like super aggressive. I don't feel like they were ever charging into the enemies. I feel like it was a lot of like Kangorillas maybe getting over aggressive and not allowing Strembitski to hit the shots from range before they do collapse on top of Blerst.
It was also kind of the way they were setting up those fights, because that's where it feels like a lot of Boop's damage was actually initially coming out from. It was from a distance. They were essentially working as those two-man squads, tanking that initial just level of health, stripping it away, and not leaving much sustain on the Kangorillas. So when they did go for the convergence on the fight, way, way easier. You're left with the upper hand. You can pretty much just work your way through.
All right, well, I think we might have a quick little remake here. Blerst has lost out on a player. We can kind of look into what Kangorillas have picked up in terms of their kit. Double Comet again on attack. Interesting to see, looking for some early damage yet again. But I'm imagining that we'll get confirmation in a second if this is live or not. I'm assuming we're going to have the reconnect come back through, but we'll obviously update you when we do know how this is going to go. But they're going to continue to play like it's live anyways, so Blerst, they have to look for stall for time as much as they possibly can here to hope for that reconnect to come back.
Well, they're just playing as a trio right now, which is probably the smartest move to make if this is going to be carrying on as live, Jason. Just all stuck behind the island, trying to work together, basically raining hell down. They are stripping a fair amount of health off the Kangorillas, not leaving them in too much of a favorable spot. Bit of a flank coming through. It's actually the push from Strembitski. 22,000 damage. Trying to get himself into a good angle to carry on adding to that tally and really up himself even further.
So scary. You have Strembitski and Sputnik Cobra to sit back to provide support, while Silbo Bag and Leverage charge in with their Novas. And they're depending on their two players on the payload to push it up and do damage from range, while the other two cause a distraction and hopefully able to close out some eliminations. Boop on a sliver of HP. Nalvik as well taking a hell of a lot of damage there. There's no real chance that they can contest this payload anymore, as it will cross the first checkpoint.
Yeah, they're going to secure that one and lock it down. They clean up as well. It's the full wipe on everyone on the side of Blerst. They've been blasted away again. And at this point, it's just left with them defending. And they can carry on moving from this position. Jason, this is rough for Blerst. It's not a favorable position to be in, really.
Again, like, if you're down a man, you're down so much damage. We already talked about the amount of burst you need to be able to finish someone off, because the healing you can do, you're at such a major disadvantage that it's really hard to fight back from this one. And Kangorillas, I mean, they're going to continue to push through. They've lost down 2 players, so Blerst have been able to pick up a couple of kills there, but a couple of kills is not going to be enough when you have to fight with the man down.
Newick trying to recoil away, at least hold on, keeping himself in cover to try and get the shots across. This is lovely movement from Leverage. Always being able to show off that extra little bit of pizzazz and finesse that he carries. Glides his way up into a potential uppercut position here, Jason. They're swarming them. The Sharks are all over the Blerst boys.
Well, this should be the payload to continue to move forward here in a few seconds. I mean, Blerst, almost their best bet is just to attack over and over and over again, hoping to win one of these exchanges and just stall the payload, because they're trying to eat away at the time. I think they realize there's no way we're going to full hold this anymore. We need to somehow eliminate as much time off that 5-minute clock as possible, but it's seeming to be way too difficult here. You can see Kangorillaz realizing we're just going to keep all 4 on payload. You have to come to us to stop us, and when you do, we have 2 Novas waiting for you and 2 Comets.
Yeah. Going straight into their jaws right now, though. The flank could be the potential change. As they do get behind, they can pincer play onto them. The 3 players trapped in the middle. The sandwich of the Kangorillas all over them. It should be easy pickings. However, they are at least trying to put up a fight of their own. Lone Gecko will get the opening and take down Sputnik to at least delay for a matter of time. Sealable bag with a quick trade, and that might actually be everyone down and out. Lilywick is the only one that remains, but I can't imagine for long, Jace.
Yeah, I just got confirmation they are playing this one through, so there's not going to be a reconnect out of Blerst, unfortunately. Which, I mean, I'm going to just basically say Kangorillas are going to take the first map. Like, you just can't win 3v4. It doesn't matter how good you are. These teams have proven to be the best of the best from their regions, and they're relatively of equal skill. Playing a man down just puts you so far behind that if Blerst somehow pulled this off, I would shave Jackie's beard. And then and then eat the hair.
If you want. I feel like that's fair at the position we've been left in, Jason. As there's not much that's going to be coming out from Blerst in this one, really. They might be needing that.
You know,
beard.
we were talking about the Echo sandwich yesterday. We just sprinkle some of your beard on top of it.
That could be the sauce.
I don't know if you'd want to eat a beard sauce. It sounds like it's stuck in your throat. But here we go, 16 meters left to go, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Kangorillas looking to push the payload up as they do have everyone grouped back up. They're still sticking to the double Comets and the double Novas, and they're going to be pushing in, allowing Sybil back here in leverage to look for a quick elimination if they can focus the right target. Somehow, Boop's been able to help provide an elimination here towards the backhand side of the payload, but the payload's continuing to push. No one's alive from Blerst, and Kangorillas will complete.
There you have it. They're going to lock it down. Finish it off there as well, Strumbitsky. 3,322 damage.
They got their 4 back. All right, so maybe it's not over just yet. Maybe there's a chance here that Blerst can come back. The problem is they're down by like over 2 minutes of time. So they have 2 minutes of time less to work with to push the payload across the map as far as they possibly can.
It's also the fact that the run they had wasn't even bad as well. It was actually fairly competitive going into it, but then obviously you're left in a scenario where trying to defend when you are that man down is a way worse position to be in as well. There's really not much you can do. They kind of adopted the idea of just going for the wolf pack push in as a free, keep trying to delay over and over again. I guess it's a gamble at that point, right? Of like, what can you do? It's literally just the lesser evil.
I would have just said, like, forget the instant heals and repair matrices. Let's just go full burst, get detonators in there, maybe get some force fields, because they knew, like, we can't get this player back in. We just have to stall for time. Just bombard that payload, try to land your detonators the best you can, and just buy, like, an extra 20, 30 seconds in an attack. But they do have all players back in, so we'll be back to the 4v4. But there's such a big advantage for Kangorillas, and not to mention the mental advantage that they're going to have over Blerst, or Blerst being frustrated that they just that happened.
This could be rough. Let's see if they're actually able to recompose themselves, try and forget what's just happened.
It's not too big of a time difference, but it is a massive difference nonetheless, especially when it comes to just, what, a 0.01 meter that can win you the map. And it's only a best of 3 as well, so if you win this first map, 1 more to go, and you're into the finals. And for Kangorillas, that could be a ton of extra money, because they're already through in the finals at Echo Arena. If they could do it here in Echo Combat, the money they would be making would be insane.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous. It's also the potential for them to actually get themselves the trophy twice. Sputnik Cobra opening up, though, beautiful damage done. He's lethal right now. He's really starting to give it. The blood is pumping through his veins, Jason.
So look at this. They have a Pulsar out of Sputnik Cobra. They've got a Nova for Sealable Bad. They got a Meteor for leverage, and they have a Comet for Strumbitsky. So using one of every weapon in the game. I don't think we've really seen this that often in terms of like the high caliber teams. We've seen like newer teams come in and try to use this kind of style, but this is interesting to see because it's working out for them so far on the defense.
It's crazy. It feels like we're actually just getting a little bit of everything going into the Live LAN finals at this point, which might be the way forward.
And then you have Blerst with 4 Novas. So Blerst are just pretty much, let's get in your face. So if you can do damage from range before they get there, then good on you. The problem is if they do get there, you're quickly going to be dismantled. However, it hasn't worked out for him here. Kangorillas are going to hold strong yet again. Silva bag low on HP, but he should be able to heal up in time. 50 seconds left to go here for Blerst, and they've only pushed the actual payload about 20 meters.
Waiting now to see where they're going to go from there.
Okay, so are they split in 2v2?
Yeah, they're going to try and go for the pushback around. First 2 players in, the front 2 players going aggressive. Delayed push around to actually assist now, as it will be a bit of a brawl in the tavern, basically.
The thing is, by not fighting on top of the payload right now, all this time is being wasted. The thing is, the payloads continue to move backwards. If they lose this fight, they still didn't get distance. They've had to send 1 player back now as they're still skirmishing here towards the actual checkpoint. And now the payload's going to start to move. So that was another 20 or 30 seconds bought for Kangorillaz to delay the time out of Blerst.
Yeah, that's actually going to burn off a fair bit of their clock as they do start to move
Oh
up.
no, and they have 2 repair matrices too as well. So when they come back in, they're going to have the healing advantage, massive healing advantage. There's 3 detonators on the side of Blerst, and that's going to be 1 player gone down. Lone Gecko getting caught out. 2 seconds left. They cannot afford to fall off the payload, but they will have lost this round. Sputnik, Cobra, and Silverback both going to fall here, so there's an actual chance that Blerst can continue to push this payload. However, they're losing players left and right. Adalego trying to hold on as he's trying to stick to the payload because they need to make sure to keep this payload in overtime, and that will pretty much do it. 1 player left alive, and it looks like 143.52 meters will be the distance Kangorillas need to pass.
That was rough. Strumbitsky basically doing all of the work there, hitting very critical shots towards the end to just punish them. Obviously, you're really going into that on the back foot. It's not an ideal way to have to try and go up against a fairly leveled opponent. It doesn't work out too nicely for him, Jason.
Not at all here, but we'll see how it's going to work out. I mean, kind of a shame for Boop because they had issues yesterday in Echo Arena. Have issues now today in Echo Combat. I hope they can keep that mental fortitude and keep their focus. And, you know, I will be fair to Blerst, like, considering in that interview we saw Lone Gecko didn't look too good this morning, they're still playing pretty well considering, and I think they still have a chance, a legitimate chance in the series.
Yeah, I mean, these are the 2 squads that was kind of like, we're going into it as our opening semi-final, right? There's a lot on the line for, well, basically both of the semi-finals. But it's hard to judge on either side. Very evenly matched squads. First time they're really meeting going into this, obviously with the EU/NA sort of culture clash now. Very contrasting play styles, even from the online season to the actual LAN, with just the kits they've been running across the board have been really all over the place. They've definitely been feeling a little bit crazy.
Okay, so Kangorillas, we got a stun field in there, detonator, 2 detonators actually, got a pulsar, 2 novas, and a comet again on attack this time. I actually like the use of the threat scanner for Strumbitsky too, because we talked about the phase shift, right, pulling aggression towards you, or you just use a threat scanner to actually get the information of where they're going to be, because they're not going to attack you right off the get-go with the payload, but they might do now as they've actually been able to take down Strumbitsky. And look at the damage being done, but the healing out of Kangorillas is able to keep them alive, and Blerst get a little bit overconfident, a little bit caught out here, and that actually might almost do it here for the first map.
The rough part is, to open that up for Blerst, it looked disgusting, the amount of damage they were actually connecting off. But at this point, Kangorillas, they just have an open highway, and they put their foot down, and they are just driving along the whole way, Jason. This pretty much could be it.
Strumbitsky's trying to stall for time, trying to keep them away, trying to keep them off the actual payload so they can finish this one off. It's going to be stopped. Well, not even stopped, just short, because they actually do pass it, and Kangorillas will secure themselves the first map here in this best of 3.
They've done it. They've been able to lock it down. Obviously, unfortunate for Blerst. The first map was looking good. Well, the first round was looking quite nice for them in the way they actually played it. Good time.
The attacking half.
Yeah, it looked competitive.
Not the full round. Not when they dropped a player and were forced to play defense 3v4.
That's not always ideal. It doesn't really bode well for them. But for Boop, it was the fact he was actually having an incredible game in terms of the actual work he was getting done. That gets swept away from him. Kangorillas, though, overall, picking it up. They do win that first map, Jason. And at least now they're in a position where really if they take another one, that's it. They've secured it, they've won that semi-final, and they are in both of our grand finals here for our Echo Universe.
To qualify for Echo Combat, or when you qualify, you get a minimum of $7,200.
Yep.
For Echo Arena, it's a minimum of $5,400, just for qualifying to this part today.
For being here.
So now that they're in the finals of Echo Arena, they're guaranteed a minimum of $9,000, with potentially winning $18,900. Echo Combat, if they win this one, a minimum of $12,000. And if they win the finals, they win $20,400 too. So like they have the potential to clean up like a majority of the pot here for the Echo Universe. Like potential 19,000 plus 20,000, like that's like 39 grand that they can win just from this event alone.
There's also potential that if they did actually go on to get into that final, they could take the lion's share of like the whole pot for both of the games. But literally just, you know, the max amount, Jason. I know you know what I mean.
I do. When it comes to money, I'm very well versed.
You are indeed.
I'm very well versed when it comes to money and saving things. But Strumbitsky, you see, he gets very sweaty when he plays, and I think we saw in the interview yesterday after the Kangorillas won, like how much physicality goes into playing VR. Like he was dripping sweat. That's why he looks super fit, like a snack. Can't take him to a movie theater because you're not allowed to bring in your own snacks. But that is going to be a potential. Yeah, you like that one?
I like that one. That's good.
But they have potential to close us out into 2-0.
Yeah, to be honest, the worrying factor is at this point, it could be incredibly likely because there's quite a high chance it could actually get back into it. So you have the highlights from that series. Some of them were actually really nice shots across the board. Boop was impressing an awful lot.
I actually wish we could bring Jersey in to talk about this because of having the double Comet and the double Nova, with something, I mean, we were just kind of talking about the double comet when it comes to combustion, but to have the double comet, double nova kind of set up, and with Sputnik Cobra kind of picking up the reins and joining Strembitsky on the comet hype, that's really interesting. I'm curious what Jersey actually thinks in terms of the breakdown of that. Maybe we can get him in, you know, in a second if we have a potential for that, or maybe at the end of the series. It'd be really cool to hear, because that's what we talked about. Are they going to bring anything new to the finals? And I think we've already seen that Kangorillas were prepared.
They're not sticking to the old and stable. They are actually being able to switch it up and play a little bit more on the fly. We're talking about the phase matrix. Obviously, the Nova play was the overall factor that was a whole lot different with the actual surprise capability of it. Is there any more little tricks up their sleeves, though, Jason? You know, do they have some cloth up there?
Do they need to show it right now?
Like a clown? Well,
I mean, well, you saw their sleeves. They're not wearing long sleeves, though.
Short sleeves.
The only thing they have up their short
like,
sleeves is like these massive guns for their biceps.
Do you own sleeves? I don't think you'd fit.
I like not to, but it looks like actually okay. We're gonna be heading into Dyson, so no delays here as we get into our second map. Let's see, we've got the double comet. Sorry, not double comet. Yeah, the double comet again for Kangorillas, and the double meteor. So again, switching things up. Strembitsky's been using phase shift, but they have triple detonators, which I kind of like to see. It's a very risky proposition. We don't have as much healing, but you have the potential to win a fight if you can land those shots. And Blerst going to be sitting in their spawn, waiting to see where Kangorillas are going to be holding from.
Now, historically, Blerst, they weren't the world's best Dyson team. So this is what we were talking about before with Jersey on the desk of how have things changed. They've been able to get a little bit more practice on that with the actual overall regimen and improve themselves as an entire whole. Come back into it now. We'll have to be careful.
Actually, Strembitsky spots him going straight into the point. This is exactly what we saw with Blerst up against Gravity. Just pretty much launched directly onto the point and force a fight right off the bat. However, I don't think they're looking too healthy. They do have all 4 players left alive, and of course, as I say that, the commentator's curse comes into effect, and they lose out on 2. But it seems Kangorillas might have been able to defend this. Again, Leverage, just watch him. He is so damn good at dodging and avoiding damage on the point. It's really hard to take him down. The thing is, you could take down his entire team, but he can stall so long that they can respawn back in and get to the point to fight again.
It's that nuisance factor as well, though. Strembitsky and Leverage, the fact that he's just darting around.
And you have the dancing out of Leverage, which is basically his own phase shift.
It's super
his passive.
awkward.
It's a Leverage passive. It's a phase shift.
Like, it's so horrible to deal with because you're also just being beaten down by Strembitsky's ridiculous aim.
He's given so much free reign to do damage. He got boop low. Now it got cleaned up by him. Eventually, his team will lose out in the fight, but like if you leave him alone, he is going to hit these shots.
It's just wild. The single-handed capabilities
and then
this man
charge
has
into him,
causes them to come off the point. He's out. It's ridiculous. He's always one step ahead, Jason.
I do like that they went for that, considering they had a man advantage. They actually forced out his phase shift, which now forces them to play a lot closer from odd angles. Actually being flanked in from behind. The point's being given up to them here, so Blerst taking a page out of Gravity's book as they try to boost in around behind number 21, which is going to be Leverage, but they've not been able to catch on top, and they've lost the point. Kangorillas is going to be back taking the lead here in a few seconds, and Sputnik's actually back on the Pulsar as well. So he's dropped the Comet.
He's actually traded it back over. Doesn't really matter what they have in their hands right now because there's just bits everywhere. Nuts and bolts all over the gaff, Jason, as they've quickly retaken that point. Going to get themselves into an even better position now as they've been able to come back through, completely wasting everyone on the side of Kangorillas, and now they should be able to excel.
So Force Field coming in for Sputnik, and he switched back, or sorry, not Force Field, switches back over to the Comet. So he's just being so agile when it comes to what they're running. He's switching things up constantly. Lego's dropped very low. Boop's already been cleaned up here. They already have the man advantage for the attack.
And the snipe's already coming straight back out from Strembitsky. It was a beautiful opener. He tags down 2 players so ridiculously low. So at this point, when they do go for the attack on the point, they can just melt their way through him like a hot knife through butter, Jason. And they're all just down on the ground. Everyone done for. The retake from Kangorillas. 30% to 59% now for Blerst.
I'm actually really curious what Sputnik Cobra's going to do here. Again, they can close off a lot of these tunnels with arc mines if they want. They can really, again, force Blerst to take a lot of damage as they approach the point. They're actually not even challenged on the initial launch in towards the point. Strembitsky's just sitting off to the side. Again, it's great to have like a Comet player if he's hitting shots, but the problem is if your teammates don't survive on point, then they don't buy you the time to clean up kills quickly, and it's not allowing you to really be super effective. So now he's been forced to sit back yet again. Sputnik Cobra, whenever they don't have control of the point, he goes to the Comet, but I feel like when they do have control, he goes to the Pulsar, so he's constantly jumping between these 2 weapons.
Very dynamic in the way he's actually overall played this. Strembitsky, though, mostly been gravitating towards that area where he can actually get those back shots off and just snipe people down. Up and aggressive, though. Everyone charging straight through as they're going to try and fight into this. Strembitsky not able to do too much damage in close and personal conditions. They're actually whooping them right now, Jason. They do get site control. This isn't the best fight across the board. Both sides looking a little bit sloppy on that one.
So now we have Silverback with the Nova and leverage on the Meteor. So I do respect this. Kangarillas are consistently changing things up. And again, a lot of damage being done as they try to transition to the point. I still would like to see like the double detonators thrown in when they're launching in. But that's going to be Blerst completely clean sweeping this point, taking all 4 players down. I feel like there's an easy opportunity for teams to take advantage of the way Blerst attack on the point. They just launch straight into it. You get the detonators lined up. If you hit a meteor shot to the front of the forefront person, you're going to get kills before they get there. But that's going to be Blerst taking the first point here on Dyson.
Well, it's the full frontal attack. That's pretty much what we've just been seeing the entire time. Kangorillas
Arc
more
mine
so.
it up, you know, arc mine detonators.
Yeah.
Like they're doing the same thing. Blerst are not adapting. We're seeing the Kangorillas do that consistently with the weapon choices, with the ordnance choices. And yet they're still not taking advantage of how consistent Blerst are being in their strategies.
Well, that's the problem. They're not adapting as well in the way we've just seen Strambitsky basically trying to play from that backstab angle, right, where he's trying to get off the snipes, but he can't quite do it effectively because everyone's site's just crumbling at that point.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
you're overwhelmed. It's literally a 3 versus 4 where you're just going to be charged and everyone's going to go down.
Yeah, well, hopefully when we get into round 2, they're going to be able to shake some things up because that could potentially be Blerst coming back into it and forcing a third and final map on a combustion, which would be great to see, especially after what happened on our first map here. Now, round 2 kicking off. On the orange side, we got Kangorillas. On the blue side, we do have Blerst. And Blerst, again, going to be sitting back in their own spawn and letting Kangorillas get the initial control. Double detonators, double meteor, double nova. So Blerst is just sticking to what they know. Low Gecko takes a hell of a shot right off the bat here. I think that was out of leverage. And Lego's going to be the first to fall.
Point unlocked. The all-out battle goes down. Lone Gecko and Sealable Bag trade into a piece, as they will be able to at least put themselves into a fairly good position now.
The thing is, Jackie, what's so rough about this is the fact that if Strambitsky doesn't hit the shot, or even if he does hit the shot and he does get like an insta-kill,
Yeah.
the Comet's not going to be nearly as effective as a Meteor or Nova in close range, which is exactly where Blerst want to fight time and time again. So the Comet, I think, technically is not even really working out for them anymore, especially if they go for the initial control. They need to pull like the gravity strat of like popping off the point, allowing Strambitsky to do some early damage, and then attack once they get a kill.
It feels like they've literally completely negated his playstyle now at this point, because we saw obviously it wasn't really working
They're not
at first.
facilitating him to do what he does best, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit of give and take, right? Because it feels like they could change things up over on Kangorillas, but it's literally just a complete counter that's coming out from Blerst as well, where they're just always in your face, hammering down once and once. Never stop him with that. There's not too much you do. You don't have that time for the quick adjustments with a flexible bag, though, at least, trying to make things work. Finally, they're going to get control of the point, but it's pretty late in already.
Well, they have a lot of... Well, at least I thought they had a lot of tacticals up, but they invested pretty much everything into that fight. You can see they have the instant heal and the repair matrix as the only tax and ordnance to use in this next skirmish, which ideally they should not win because you see Lone Gecko with the ability to heal. It had the ability to heal twice and double detonators. If anything, Kangorillas should not invest anything into this fight. And, well, they get completely wiped out here. And Sweating Cobra's back on the pulsar. I do like the switch-ups. I'm really curious to hear what Jersey says about this later on. I do like his constantly changing his weapons. But now we see the switch-up come in finally. It looks like Strambitsy's going over the Nova, running triple Nova and a pulsar.
This could actually be the counter they needed. It was getting stagnant. They had their number. Now they've changed it. Let's see if they can try and work their way back through. They are able to get at least the opening site control. They force them back off, and they're going to battle around the point as the complete swarm comes in, popping those health mixtures, trying to keep themselves up into a good position. Sputnik Cobra with the first, but it's not looking great, Jason, as the trades come back through.
I think now Blerst have to think for a second about what to do. Even though Kangorillas didn't take the point, they now realize, all right, Strambitsky switched things up to the Nova. They know what weapon he's using. He's gone away from the Comet, so they have to be more prepared for fights on the point. And Sputnik Cobra actually picks up a triple with the Pulsar. Somehow he's able to pull it off. Lone Gecko's going to come in and finally shut down that killing spree. But Blerst still going to be skirmishing for this one. The problem is the point's being held by Kangorillas, which means they have a longer respawn when they do die, which means Blerst is going to get back in time to always have a man advantage.
That's so awkward as well. Every time Leverage is on the site, you can just see everyone trying to swarm and chase behind him, literally just like a school of fish chasing down, and it never works out too well. Blerst getting point control once more. At this point, still contested, though. The early touches coming in, but they're going to realize they need to back off. Sputnik Cobra could have lost everything there.
Was the point turn right before Nillywick died? Because it actually is going to give a man advantage for Kangaroo for 4-on-3 on point if they buy a little bit of time and wait a second for the last respawn to come through, which is going to be Strambitsky. I'm going to dive right back on point. Sputnik Cobra looking to do a lot of damage from range here, not able to hit as many shots since you kind of have to look at it as a projectile weapon since it's not a hit scan. And Silverback picks up 2, Strambitsky picks up 1, and now Blerst on 70%, Kangorillas on 58% and counting.
Yeah, they've cleaned up to actually reopen this one. They can equalize this now. At least keep it close at 70%, 70%, just as the fight's going to come back in. Are they going to hit them with a Blerst and bombard their way back into the site as the airstrike comes through, landing on either Lego, opening it up, is going to be able to take down both of the S's. It's not looking great, Jason.
Well, we got the double J's here casting, the triple S's playing, and the triple S's have fallen, unfortunately, here for the side of Kangorillas, and Blerst should be able to take the point back. Can they maintain it now for another 30% and take us into a map 3? That's going to be the question. That's going to be the thoughts on their mind. Kangorillas thought they're going to be thinking about is, should we change anything up? Should we change a different way of attacking? They're still maintaining the triple Nova and the Pulsar. We have Strembitsky trying to flank in from behind with Sealable Bag, trying to go for a little bit of a pinch move. They're all grouped up now together, looking for the damage. Boop's going to fall, so they get the man advantage right off the bat. The problem is they're taking so much damage. Sealable Bag, Strembitsky both going to fall. Sputnik, Cobra as well. And Blerst are going to take us into a map 3.
Surely they're going to lock it down from here. 98%. It's just a matter of time.
Leverage.
It's always leverage on the site. Just being
Is he going to win? He's won these before. He's stalled for time.
He's got the site.
He's prevented Blerst from winning the map just off that alone. They get the respawns back in. They have all 4 players left alive, and I called it too early. You can never count out Kangorillas when Leverage is alive and still breathing, even though I don't think the robots really breathe because they don't have lungs. But it doesn't matter because Blerst now, they have to touch the point. 2% left to go. 3%, sorry. And it's going to be the last skirmish, the last battle to see who wins this round.
Whoever takes this one will lock it down. It all comes down to this. Literally mere percents away as they fall down in such a tight position, Jason.
They've done it, Kangorillas. I think they've done it, yeah, off the back of Leverage's all-star play there of stalling in a 1v2, even takes an enemy out, buys time for the respawns to come back in, and now Kangorillas are 1 round away from closing out the series 2-0.
How does he do this so often? He's never punished. He just outmaneuvers everyone. The movement that he has is crazy.
The thing is, like, we have not really seen any other player be able to do what he does.
No. Literally hands down. That's why it's so, you know, it's sort of become a meme where we're just like, oh, if Leverage is alive, he's going to be able to just dance around a point.
It's not even a meme, it's true.
It's true, yeah.
Oh man, Leverage has been able to do it time and time. You can see a cheeky smile on his player picture behind him as he knows. That's probably the smiles he's making as he's like stalling for like 30 seconds on the point. Like, don't worry, guys.
Into himself.
1v4, I got this. He'll take 2 down and buy time for you to respawn back in. But now with Kangorillas switching up things for good, they've gotten rid of the Comet play. They're like, all right, forget this. Strembitsky, switch to Nova and stay on this. We have triple Nova and a Pulsar, and they got 3 detonators. On the other side, they have triple Nova and a Meteor. So even now, Blerst are adapting their style, looking for more upfront damage, not depending on the splash damage as much. And they have the double detonator. So you have more burst damage out of Kangorillas. But let's see how it's going to go down, as it looks like Boop's going to be the first casualty.
More damage coming through, though. Strembitsky with a trade back onto Lego at this point, as they are just left in a bit of an awkward fight. You've already lost 2 of the 3 S's. Leverage taking a hell of a lot of damage, and this time he's not going to be able to dance his way out of this one. No Cha-Cha sliding away for victory. Nearly coming off the point there, but they are at least going to be able to open it up as Blerst gets the first bit of control.
Oh, you saw Kangorillas. They almost wanted to just jump directly on the point. Problem is the respawns are going to be there. Sputnik, Cobra trying to attack from the high ground here. And the Pulsar can do some decent damage over time. It's definitely a big nuisance that you have to worry about. It's more of the burst, though, out of the Novas that you have to kind of keep your eye on, as looks like Blerst have fallen off the point, allowing Kangorillas to get the control. But now the Kangorillas are going to have the longer respawn timers, so Blerst could have an advantage here. But they've already dropped 2 men, and there should be Kangorillas maintaining the point. But now this should be, you know, Blerst with a man advantage on the re-attack.
And this is horrible as well, because you've got to think about the current amount of pressure that is actually just falling onto Blerst. You're going to a position where you could have won it, you could have shut it down, taken it through to a 3rd map, basically a fresh reset. Now it's this or nothing, as they do try and get back into the affair, though. Sealable Bag, not going to be resealable at this point.
It's a good retreat. Don't fight. Don't force long respawns on yourself. Maybe look for another avenue to fight with as Sputnik Cobra goes in. Sealable Bag has fallen, and now Kangorillas have to wait for time. Wait for the respawns to come back through, as they're going to be up against 3 players themselves. They could technically have like a 4v3 here if they sent someone back to pick up Sputnik Cobra.
They've gone for the dive onto the site. It was slightly delayed. They've now got all 4 of those robots on site, ready to rock and roll.
I almost would have loved to have seen them chase Niliwit coming out of spawn, kill him, and then you have a 4-on-3 that you should have be max HP on. But now he's been able to rejoin the fight for the, I guess, the little bit of time as he does get cleaned up, and Kangorillas will take the point, or should be taking the point here. Actually, they've fallen off of it. Okay, so Leverage wasn't there to contest it. And Blerst are going to maintain control.
Not the most successful initial opening. Lone Gecko as well on the site. That's that connection off onto Leverage. There will be a trade back from Strembitsky. Finally, they gain the point control, but it's much later than they initially expected it to be. They're going to get the advantage overall in the total percentage. But Jason, it's not going to be by much. We're looking at about 50% when the fight comes back through from Blerst. It looks to be the classic Blerst airstrike, and they're straight back into the action. Yeah,
no switch up in compositions either from both teams. They're still maintaining the triple Novas from both sides with the Pulsar and or the Meteor. And that's going to be a clean take at Kangorillaz. To be fair, they didn't really invest any tacticals into it. And you look at Blerst, so technically they have a healing advantage. They're equal in terms of the instant repairs, but the healing or the repair matrices are going to be in favor of Kangorillaz by 1. But again, it's all about that burst damage. You have to pop those early to make sure you keep people healing up. You can see Strambitsky constantly flying low. He's died, I think, twice over. Sputnik Cobra will be cleaned up as well as Loveridge. And Blerst going to maintain control. Look at the 66% and counting. Kangorillaz only have basically like 1, maybe 2 attacks left to pull this one back.
What's wild as well is we've actually only got like 3 players with 3k damage on Blerst, which is it's pretty up there. They've been hitting a ton of shots and really being able to transfer as much damage as physically possible. Strambitsky, though, he wants a piece of the pie. Back into the action. Goodbye to Nillywick. Keeps it going as Boop's been busted. Lone Gecko is not happy, though. He doesn't want to go extinct, Jason. He's trying to fight his way through this one, but Loveridge is on the scene. You know what happens when he's there.
Well, he's looking like to turn it here. I don't think I realize it's got to back away again. The respawns, because they had control. He has to regroup with his team. Kangorillaz should be able to get out here in time. Actually, Kangorillaz now have lost a player. So Blerst getting a little bit of a sigh of relief is what happened to them on map 1 on our on Fission when we were on our payload. So now this should be Blerst potentially taking to 3rd map, and they can win the 4v3 fight. They know how to fight 3v4 after what happened, and they know how to win 4v3 as well. We can see the reconnect come back through, but it might be too late here. Blerst taking the point, 88%, and Kangorillaz are going to have to hope somehow Loveridge can get on top of the point and stall for time, because with 5 seconds left, I don't think they're going to have an opportunity here, and I think we're going to a 2nd map, 3rd map.
Make it. Couldn't do it, Jason. There wasn't enough time. It comes back through. The shoe's on the other foot. The 3v3 shoe with 3 toe holes, but nevertheless,
3 toe holes?
Well, you know, because it's 3 people. You
Why
normally
does
have
have a
4
3rd
toes.
shoe?
Hmm?
I don't know. What?
Sorry?
Did you sleep last night? I'm a little bit confused. I thought it was going to be Ryan who was going to be the wonky one today, but hey, what's up?
What's up?
But it's going to be now map 3, and it's going to be Combustion. And this is where I think the double comets could be really cool to see out of Kangorillaz. This is what we kind of theorized before about attacking from multiple angles or having like the same kind of sight lines that you can hit the same player. If you can communicate, all right, hit this player, hit that player, you hit a double snipe shot, it doesn't matter about headshots anymore as long as you hit the body.
I think this is actually kind of quite a fitting finish as well, obviously, of this best of 3 going back into it now. If this is the way it's gone for both of those maps, obviously keeping it way close there until the unfortunate dropout. If we're now back into it, it's a straight 4v4, basically the fresh reset, Jason, a best of 1 to close it out between the 2 sides. It's a fair gambit, you know what I mean, to see where this is going to go for who is actually going to be the better man walking into that final. Kangorillaz potentially 1 step away from being in 2 finals. Blerst, this is where they could try and lock it down and potentially have that EU face-off versus Gravity later on.
I mean, we have, what was it, 5 NA teams and 1 EU team at the moment. Ouroboros, the only one in Echo Arena to get through. I mean, and 1 player from Ouroboros is actually here, is Nillywick. He kind of came in as a sub for Ambient when he hurt his back, and I mean, he's got to feel maybe some extra pressure on his shoulders trying to represent EU here.
Yeah, the single flag holder, just hoping to try and, you know, keep it going for his side potentially.
I know, because the thing is, I know he'd be more than happy to get through into the final as well. Because the thing is, like, imagine you're Ouroboros and you're like, we lost a player.
Yeah.
Right before the tournament, and then you ask Nillywick to step in, and he steps in and helps carry your team into a victory neck arena to the finals. That's got to be fantastic. And then now if he can do it here with Blerst, he's got to be feeling on top of the world. The problem is Kangorillaz are still not letting this series go without a fight. Combustion's going to be definitely an interesting map, and I'm curious to see how, more importantly, Kangorillaz are going to look to defend or attack with double comets.
How they actually switch
Look at the
up
rug.
the place.
Look at the rug. Maybe that's how Loveridge is so good.
Who's got a rug?
I think that's a Loveridge. Maybe that's why he's so good. We talked about it yesterday. Like, you got to feel comfortable, right? Replicate your home environment. He's got a little mat he plays on.
I want to see this mat. I want to see what it's like. I feel like it'd be, you know, quite soft, sort of cushion the toes. Oh, there it is. That's quite small. It's like
I would not want to touch him
mat.
after, because that static electricity would like knock me out.
I feel like really shakes his feet.
Yeah.
Builds up that charge.
I mean, to be fair, like, it's also like a thing of comfort in terms of where you step on the mat. If you feel like the outline of it, you'll know where you are on the platform. Like at home when I play, I have like a chair protector thing on the ground for like the wood. So where I'm stepping on that, if I feel it like on a certain part of my foot, I know exactly where I am in my little space.
Where you actually
are. Yeah, exactly. So I can reposition. But maybe that's how he's so good at being mobile. Maybe it's the cushy socks and the soft little mat.
Potentially so, because I mean, there's something about Loveridge. You know,
I think there's something.
Got the edge.
There's a marketing idea there. The Loveridge rug. The Love Rug. No, that probably is a different thing. But the Loveridge rug would be a selling point. I'd buy one of those, you know, Blerst colors.
Yeah.
Or Kangorilla colors.
So like a team branded one. You know, sew it. Maybe, you know those kits you can buy where you sew them yourselves and it's like painting by numbers, but you thread it.
cross stitch?
Yeah. We do one of those.
Of a rug.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think you know how cross stitch works.
We'll make it work.
Well, you know what? He's looking to make it work. And these guys on your screen, Blerst looking to represent EU as we move over to our third and final map of the series. It's Combustion. Kangorillaz again going to be gifted the control around the initial point as Blerst looking to see how they set up. And we're seeing the Pulsar to Sputnik Cobra, the single Comet out of Strambitsky, and the double Meteor. And again, Strambitsky using the threat scanner. So he's definitely looking to hold these like really far off angles, looking to see the avenue they're going to attack onto the point. And for Blerst, they're going for the triple Novas and the Meteor.
Into this where it's going to be the widest open space, potentially allowing for some of that classic
Strambitsky
style.
If you can get the Oculus headset to like scan your face at the same time, so if you look at the robots, you actually see the players' faces like live.
Like underlined.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
We'll work on that.
I've been making stupid faces the entire time I play, though, in hopes that someone would see it.
Just trying to tilt people. Let's see if there's going to be tilting plays. Yeah. Damage done, Jason, as they've got that control towards the site. Ed Lego doing a ton of damage. Actually keeps it going as well. He's had enough of what Loveridge has been doing. He spits on him and his rug.
Well, that's kind of rude.
Yeah, I know.
He's
an aggressive man. He's an aggressive man.
Well, Blerst now 23% and growing. They only lost one player. That was Boop, who's going to be returning to the fight here another time. We're still going to see the single comment out of Strambitsky, and hopefully we can actually tag along with him to see how he's going to go for the attack, because he's still running threat scanner. He's not switched over the phase shift. As you see Silva back here looking for another angle to attack with. You can see actually Blerst not really holding on point. They're actually holding off of that to prevent Strambitsky from getting as free as rain as he wants. And you can see he's already dropped very low. To have another player here off the side, that's going to be Boop right around the corner.
Oh, stealthy Strambitsky.
You know,
the silent assassin.
Credit to Blerst. They're doing like a decent job in their positions right now to prevent Strambitsky from doing as much damage as they possibly can. They're denying him a lot of angles. They're healing up a lot of the damage. And they finally focus him down when he gets a little bit too close. Really well done by Blerst.
They've literally completely countered his playstyle pretty much every time. It's literally the ideology, if you don't know where Strambitsky is, look behind you at this point.
Okay. Sorry to cut you off because we have a little limited time here. You're seeing the double comets now to Kangorillaz. I feel like this is like them saying, all right, we're gonna lose this round. Let's try this out right now to see how well it works and how well we can implement it into round 2. I think they've already given up on this round because with no % left to really give up, they have to hope that someone can just stall for time on the point.
Well, it didn't go too well in the limited amount of space they actually had to play with it, but the full process is there.
I like dropping the meteors on this point.
Yeah?
Because technically, yeah, there's a lot of like things you can hit, like a lot of walls. Like obviously you want to hit them direct if you can, but at a minimum you want to hit a wall near them for splash damage, just for some guaranteed damage, which is why the Pulsar is better than a lot of other weapons, because you're going to have more of a chance of getting more guaranteed damage. But I like the Nova switch up instead, because meteors, there's so much terrain you can hide behind. It's so hard to hit. There's so much open area still technically that you can miss walls, that you just switch over to the Nova and just play with a shotgun and try to protect Strambitsky a little bit if you can, if they want to push up and get aggressive against him.
Well, it's that sheer size increase you have here as well. There isn't as many islands just completely darted around, so the cover they have is a lot more limited. As you can see, it's way more open than the other points, really, and just the sheer initial space you have. Little smaller bits of cover in the individual islands that are darted around.
Strambitsky's pushed up really. I think he's banking on the fact that none of them have a threat scanner. I think he's going to allow them to push in towards the point, and he's going to attack them from behind. This is actually like a read into Blerst, because I think they've realized they've not used threat scanner a single time in the course of this best of 3. So use this to advantage, and I think we definitely need to keep an eye on Strambitsky. If we can go to him, just watch what he does here as they transition to the point. Yep. So now he's swinging around. He's going to be attacking from behind. You got to watch the health bars out of Blerst, see if he hits any shots. Looks like, unfortunately, Boop's been able to clean up 2 players of Kangorillas. So again, the time hasn't been bought. I don't know if Kangorillas like used the healing soon enough, or they just got bursted down so quickly, but there was no time for Strambitsky to do damage. So I'd say forget the Comet play. This is not going to work. At least on the defense like that when they have the initial control.
That was rough. That's the thing. You could see the entire read that he'd actually gone for there. It was pretty big brain play.
Yeah, it was 400 IQ. It just his teammates died way too quickly.
They just didn't actually get that execution off.
I think that's because they're running double detonator on the point. I think they switched over to some extra healing here to help allow some time. I mean, again, look, they were running the double comet. Sputnik Cobra's going to use that as Strambitsky switched over the Nova.
Talking of time, though, Jason, they're going to need to turn back time if they actually want to be able to win this one at this point, as it's just not looking great for them at all. Finally starting to fight man-on-man towards the site and get themselves back into at least somewhat of a buildable position, as they are left in the 2-on-1, as they're trying to dart around. Loveridge will find out Nillywick and be able to eliminate him, and finally, you get control. You get a touch on the point this late in, round 2 at 41% for Blerst.
Let's see, able to return back to join up. Sputnik Cobra Again, using the Comet. He's not using the threat scanner with this, though. Strabitsky's still maintaining this, even though he's using the Nova now. And they're up still against the Triple Nova and the Meteor on the side of Blerst. But Blerst have time to play with. They tend to give a round to play with as they crash directly on top of the point spot at Cobra. Again, looking for some damage, but just like Strabitsky, his teammates fall too quickly for him to be effective. So I'd say ditch it. Screw the Comets right now. Switch over to like quadruple Novas, if anything, because you have nothing else to lose right now. You have to change up your strategy. It's not working.
They're looking at the Kangorillaz right now, Jason. It's just not working well at all. It's all going straight out the window.
The Kanga crumble?
The Kanga crumble. They need to do something different. They've got to switch things up. They've got to get that confidence back. None of the aspects that give them that edge are here right now. It's all gone out the window. Communication's gone.
They're fighting a man down. I don't know why. They just gave up an entire attack here.
What is going on?
Sputnik was nowhere near to help out, and they just pretty much dived onto the point. He's basically by himself now as he's trying to go into solve for time. He should just wait for the respawns. And I think that's going to do it. I think Blerst are going to come back from this. I think they're going to come back from the unfortunate disconnect they had in map 1, and I think they're going to take the series here on the third and final map.
It's over, surely. They were so staggered by the plays that they made. That's it. There's not a single chance. They only had Strabitsky going back in to try and get a touch off, but it was not meant to be. Blerst have done it.